now tuned in to FYC The Show with your host, Vinny Bronco.
Repercussion.
And in the booth we got Just Heck. What's going on, people? FYC The Show here, Vinny Bronco.
Repercussion.
Today we're going to do a little interview with my homie.
Just Heck.
Yeah. So we did the interview where Heck interviewed the two of us separately, but now we going to jump in and double team him. That's how he like it, 2-on-1.
Whoa.
All right, so we're going to start this off real quick, real simple.
Oh, man.
Can I just start over? Heck must have came in. You must have saw a picture of The Rock back in the day, because the way you dress right now.
He needs a fanny pack, though.
Yeah, that's what he needs.
It's a fanny pack and a little rope chain.
Oh, my God. You see, I look like The Rock's little brother, like his little guy, right? It's right here. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like he just pulled you out of his pocket. Me.
Right? Oh, my God. And the jokes begin. Oh, I'm so excited for this interview.
All right, so we're going to get into it. We're going to start it off like, so we already spoke about how, you asked us questions, how, like, what we like, what kind of games we like and things like that, and how we came up with the idea of the show. Right. We spoke on that briefly. As a reminder, he came to me, we talked about it, we talked it out over some poison, and then, here we are. So today I want to find out from you, how do you feel about what we've accomplished so far?
I think we've come quite a long way since it began. I mean, it's interesting. Like, so I was thinking about that today. It was funny. And I'm like, man, like from where we were, on June 17th, 2019, where we are now, it's like, man, and I was really excited today. I've been like really excited about the last couple shows. Just because it's just been like, it's just been fun, and I just, you don't have to worry about, I don't know, it's different. But I'm like really excited for the future, and I mean, there's so many places that we can go with this.
Hopefully, it gets better and better. That's what.
Hopefully, it will. It will. I don't believe in hopefully. Hopefully, I don't believe you.
So we're gonna make it better and better.
I think you guys know me enough where the amount of harsh emails or harsh text messages. It's like, yo, I usually wait for like a FU, like I'm like, yo. But it's out of love.
He threatens me all the time, but I'm used to it, so it's not even.
It's out of love. I see the potential that you guys have, and it's like.
Shout out to Repercussion. He's been doing his thing with the IG page. I appreciate that.
Definitely.
I've been trying to post as much as I can, and he's been posting more. So we've definitely been stepping it up there.
I mean, it's something that you guys, you came to me. It was like, yo, we need you to. I'm too busy. I was like, okay, no problem. Sure.
Yeah. No, it's been dope. Yeah, it just I recognize what I hopefully you guys see what I see, because there's a lot. You guys have a lot of impact on people in general, and just pushing that out into the universe, into and with people, and noticing, like people see you guys or even mostly the interactions are like online, but still like. I see that and I'm like, yo.
I actually have a lot of people from my job that actually subscribes and watches videos and things like that, and they actually talk to me about it. I get positive feedback from them as well, so I appreciate it. Shout out to everybody at my job.
I want to shout out Laura Goldman, who sent you guys those gifts today.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Laura Goldman, she's awesome. She listens to the show like. She's like, and this is her voice. She's like, Hector, I listen to the show I have it on Spotify now. I listen to iHeartRadio. I watch the shows on YouTube, and you guys are good. You cough too much though sometimes, Hector, but it's okay.
And I hope that when she hears this episode, she smacks you in the back of your head and you on her voice.
But she's amazing. She's awesome.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate all the feedback from anybody,
For real.
positive or negative.
Shout out Laura Goldman. But anyhow, I think it's been going well, and I see that us, after heading into season 2, it's just like, man, and with all the content that's coming out, season 2 is gonna be insane.
I'm already stacking chips for these 2 systems I gotta buy towards the end of the year.
It's gonna be.
That's what
it's gonna be one.
It's gonna be
it's gonna be a big one. I mean, we know Sony hasn't announced what the system looks like, or what the price is.
Yeah.
But what are your expectations for seeing that? We already know what Xbox has out, what the price is gonna be. What do you hope to see with, given what Sony differs on Xbox, on Microsoft? What do you expect the prices to be? Like, how would you vary that price?
Yeah, thank you.
For Sony.
Number one, I think it was very strategic of them to not put out the price, because whatever price they would have put, the Xbox would have just been cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So you at this point, you kind of just, you're kind of saying, what's that called when you're bluffing? You're kind of just waiting to see who's really gonna show your cards.
Who's gonna show their cards?
Who's gonna show their hand, and and it's really, we all know, at least to this point, we're speculating from the news that's been released on the specs of these systems. So you kind of know that PlayStation is gonna be a little bit more powerful, and not really even that much. It's gonna be like,
So I recently read something, and it basically said that the Xbox is gonna be better graphically, but the PlayStation is gonna be faster. But both are so minuscule, you won't be able to even notice it.
Right.
So they're pretty much gonna be really similar.
Right. It's like,
it just comes down to
it just comes down to content
and what exclusives you look forward to.
And I think, it's been like, a boxing match. PlayStation 2 took the first round. Then Xbox 360 took the next round. Not by a great margin. But,
because toward the end,
fan experience, just from the gaming experience.
But toward the end,
PlayStation caught up and kind of passed them. But
the final round, it came. But
in the last round, it was.
I would look at those two. Those two would be something. The 360 and the PS3. I would see. Microsoft started off strong, but Sony finished strong. So I feel like they broke even on those two systems. Like
I think there's a little bit of bias from you guys, because you guys are more pro PS4 or PlayStation.
I don't know.
I think the 360 won that round.
I tried the 360, and my problem was the fact that
the overheat,
the whole 33.3% failure rate. Like, how do you release something with that high of a failure rate, and then to the consumers, it was just like, oh well, buy another one.
Right, and they did. That's the crazy part.
But as well, I mean,
and that's what
some people didn't have to buy another one. So people already had like the Halo edition that it was collecting dust, or the Gears. Which I give it to Microsoft. A friend of
mine had bought the Halo Collector's Edition. It got the red ring out the box. He sent it back. They sent him a white one.
Right. That's good.
I would have been like, I want what I
a white one. They said we don't do Collector's Edition refurbished.
Insane.
Yeah.
So they sent him a white one.
Well, that's why PlayStation 4 will definitely win the next round, because stuff like that.
He bought 6 more.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I honestly just. Because I had both, and
I had them both too,
and it was just like, it was the games that I really had fun with were on the 360. Although
I think most of the
Dragon
games,
Age was a favorite of mine for the PS3.
Most of the games I played,
Mass Effect was definitely nice to tell you all about it, Vinny. I was like,
Mass Effect on the 360. I had a 364 weekend.
It feels like a lot of the games that I played on the 360 were Xbox exclusives, Gears, the Halo Reach.
I had Gears, but I only bought it just to have it. My favorite games on the 360 were Fallout, Mass Effect, And that was it. Those are the only games I really played.
Like
Crackdown was fun until Saints Row 3.
Saints Row 3.
Yeah.
Crackdown had it, and then Saints Row.
Yeah.
Because Crackdown, he was basically a bootleg superhero, but then Saints Row 3 said, no, we're going to make you superheroes.
I recently, I mean, this is like as of like last night, I was like thinking about playing Mass Effect again, and I was just like, yo, and I still have my Xbox 360 hard drive, and I'm just like, yo, like I'm thinking really hard, like I want to buy one, but I'm not trying to buy one for anything over $50. But I'm like, because I want to play Mass Effect.
But think about it, you
like,
spend $50 and then you catch a red ring, and it's like
I never caught one. It was funny. The first one I had was I bought it off of somebody. He sold it to me for like $30, and I was like, okay, drug addict.
I remember the story.
Yeah, I was like, okay, drug addict, and then I went and I got Fallout, and then a friend of mine that I went to school with, he was like, you ever heard of a game called Mass Effect? And I'm like, no, what's that? He goes, you never played Mass Effect? He's like, oh, it's kind of like Star Wars. You'd like it. Like, I'm like, Star Wars? Like, what do you mean?
Nothing like Star Wars.
He said, like, no, he said in terms of, like, the plot and everything. Like, the plot and how.
No.
So I said, okay, that's what he told me. And it's not, you're right. It's nothing like Star Wars. But I played it, and I loved it. And then I was like, okay. Then they were like, Mass Effect. This is, like, 2 years after Mass Effect 1 came out. Okay. So right when I started playing it, they were already talking about Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm getting it. I pre-ordered it. Didn't get, I got some of the DLC. Then they started releasing stuff. And I was just buying everything. Every time, it would be like $5-$6.99. I'm getting that. I'm buying that. Until I got everything. And it was really great. Then Mass Effect 3 came out. And it was like, I'm loyal. I like it. Did I love it? No. It wasn't better than Mass Effect 2. But it provided closure for the most part.
Yeah, I like Mass Effect 1 the most for some reason. I don't know why.
Because of the customization. You could customize more.
Yeah, it's a lot more open on the customization.
The other ones you couldn't really customize. You could customize the helmet, everything.
Yeah.
In part 1.
This one is like it has pretty much layouts for it.
Everything was just you buy it. You couldn't really customize. You had to buy it. That was when the EA model kicked in. They realized, look, we got a gold mine. We got a great game. We'll put some,
Funny you say that. Activision released their numbers and said that they did better with this Call of Duty without loot boxes or season passes.
Yeah.
They sold more and got more people to play at that time.
Look at that.
You think about it.
Look at that.
Quality of games.
What are the odds?
They definitely got us three in there for a little while at least.
Yeah. Definitely you two. You guys. And Rouge trailing behind. He's like still stressed he hasn't gotten his crossbow yet. He's like, I know. They got it. I know. And I'm
He
like,
didn't get the crossbow yet?
No, he didn't get it yet.
You know what would probably make him feel even worse about it? I got it and never used it. I can't say never. I shot one dude with it and put it in the storage forever.
Yeah, that would make him feel bad. You should kill him with it.
I saw a dude with a gold one the other day.
Oh my God.
I was like,
wow.
Really?
That's killing a lot of people with that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Mind you, if you miss, you're probably gonna die.
Because it's and then you like, where did I put that bolt?
So it's basically you running, trying to reload the bow.
It's like an old school crossbow. You pull out the thing, you put it on, pull back the string.
Should have put that in your video, that clip. people get shot with a crossbow.
Yeah, that's gonna be what I work on. That's gonna be what I'm gonna work on.
Do a montage of crossbow kills.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of what I think for PlayStation 5 and Xbox, whatever it's called,
Series X.
Yeah,
or what a lot of people are calling the Xbox.
I look forward to it. I mean,
the Xbox Q.
Yeah, I'm gonna trade in my PS4 since it's everything. It's PS5 is backwards compatible. Everything. I'll get all my Final Fantasies back on there somehow and call it a day. That's pretty much it. I think it's gonna be interesting.
Are you gonna look into the Xbox?
It depends on what the exclusives are. To be honest with you, because the truth is, I don't play video games enough to justify two systems. just to myself more than anything. Like you guys see me like I'm sparingly on, and when I'll get on here and there. Like I was on last night with Miss and Murder. We were playing Borderlands 3, and they had just started. So I'm like my souped up character, destroyed
it's
it.
not your souped up character.
Showed up with God.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like Murder.
Yeah, Jesus
Murder's like literally. He's like, hey, like we weren't even talking. Then all of a sudden I hear him plugging in his mic. He's like, hey Neo, what's up? I'm like, yeah, what's going on, bro? He's like, yeah, you think you go a little slower? We're trying to catch up. And I'm like, oh my bad. So I literally had to like stop killing stuff.
That's why when I play with people who are lower than me, I don't kill enemies. I'll run and I'll shoot somebody because he's in front of me, but then I leave a bunch of enemies behind. Sometimes I go play in the corner. I'll kill like the NMs or whatever you want to call them. I don't even know what they're called on that game, but you know what I mean when I say that. He probably doesn't.
What I do is I end up I just run around, and if somebody comes to me, I just punch them. Like I don't even. I got guns that are overpowered, but I'm just gonna melee you just because you're in my way.
Yeah. But
I'll just call out my doppelganger and leave him in the middle of the room. Yeah. Just to make sure you don't die. And if you don't, what's messed up? I was playing with your cousin, and he never told me he died, so I was just not doing nothing, and he was just dead. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me you were
Evil
dead?
Dead or
Living Dead?
Living Dead. Yeah.
He was dead and he didn't say nothing to nobody. Yeah. You was there. It was the three of us.
Yeah, but you guys were like, so start a mission and they're gone. Like they was like, oh, join us. Okay. They're at the end of the mission. I gotta run over there. From my spawn point.
You can fast travel to your team members.
Right.
Not when they're engaged.
Right. I don't know. But yeah, it is what it is. I don't know if I would buy both. And when PlayStation said everything was backwards compatible.
That's pretty much what.
I'm like, I'm just going to go with that and hopefully.
I mean, it's only you think about it, PlayStation has 5 years of games.
We just have to recruit
4 years of games.
We just have to recruit somebody who has an Xbox, who gets the Xbox, and then
get
them into the circle.
You have Microsoft with.
I'm gonna get it.
3 years.
But I don't know if I'm gonna play it a lot.
That's the point. That's
the problem. I'm gonna have.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Like I said,
But then again, you got a PC, so you can play all the Xbox games on your PC if you really want.
Yeah,
pretty much.
If Microsoft decides to come out with and finally gets the game scale bound, then I'll have one. That'll be probably the only game I'll be playing.
It's crazy.
So for you ladies out there, he's selling his body for video game consoles.
He was selling his body for sandwiches. What are you talking about?
Whoa.
He's been doing
well. Sell
this. He's been doing well.
You can't sell this for sandwiches. You can promote it for sandwiches, but you can't sell it.
It's crazy. Oh man! Next question. Next question. Oh, all right,
because we ain't really been asking questions. We just been having many conversations.
Next question.
I know the answer, but what is your favorite genre of games?
And why?
I would say RPGs.
Okay.
I would say RPGs. Mainly because, so the first RPG I ever played was Dragon Warrior. That was at a cousin's house. That was for Nintendo. And we played Dragon Warrior, and it was just a story. Like, you had this little sprite, and he's got to save the princess. And it was, and then it was like first person. So the monsters would pop up if you you walked into one on screen or whatever, or they would just magically pop up. And I was like, wow, like it's like a book in a video game. And then there were, there was a game called Flying Warriors. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Google it. So it was like the Power Rangers before the Power Rangers.
Okay.
So you had but it wasn't like with a big robot or anything. So you would get this one character, and he had this. You're fighting, and they're trying to teach you how to fight, and it was crazy because like for Nintendo, it had a system like you could literally fight, and you could block, and it was crazy. But you had to like press, so a hit point would blink on your body, and if you didn't press it fast enough, the enemy would block. So if you weren't quick enough, you'd be, kind of doing this and trying to kick. But then, like, later on, he ended up getting a power because he was a remnant of some clan from back in the day. And then you start recruiting people that have this same thing. And then, at the end, there's, like, the big boss fight and side scroll or whatever. But it was really dope. I got into sports games because my family was into sports. They made me watch football and basketball because that was what they liked to, that was the thing. And so
family time, right?
Yeah, it was,
We played spades in my house.
No, we played spades too, but they just, you gonna
and
watch
Monopoly.
This game. Yeah.
Shout out to Dee hitting Becky with a bowl.
You talking about the Monopoly piece or the actual bowl?
No. We was playing Monopoly,
right.
and Dee quit because
right.
she was mad, and so she was in the. So the way we was playing in her dining room, and the kitchen is like right across. There's no walls, so she's washing dishes.
Right.
And my back is to her, and I'm laughing because I'm obnoxious.
Right.
So I'm being me. I'm laughing, and I'm like, I'm winning.
Right.
So she throws a bowl at the back of my head.
Right.
Mind you, my back is turned. For some reason, I went like this.
His spider sense is
as soon as I did like this, the bowl came and hit Becky in the chest.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Becky doesn't play Monopoly anymore.
I wouldn't either. Yeah, and then so we play, I would play sports games because I had favorite teams and stuff like that. I think out of the group, I would think I'm the kind of more well-rounded one because I play all games. Like I play horror, like I was into Resident Evil at one point. I kind of play like I touch, like you guys play like OD, like you guys play, and even like you, I don't think you've beaten a game in like 3 years because you keep jumping from game to game.
I beat Star Wars. We got video proof of that.
Right.
Remember that asthma dude came?
Yeah, okay.
And I was like, no
one.
Mr.
Was that one out of like 700 that you own?
First of all, you ain't even got no games. That's why you beat your games. You ain't got none.
Yo, we had a conversation the other day. I'm like, yo, Vinny, what
man.
game have you beaten? And he's like,
I'm horrible.
Star Wars. I'm like, what else? Star Wars. I'm like, you haven't. I was thinking you had Greedfall. Did you beat it? Nah, I ain't beat that. Why? Because another game came out.
That's what happened. Yeah. I have this disability where
he's like a dog who has this attention span.
No.
They see a squirrel and
you was right the first time when you was like he's like a squirrel because I definitely a nice little another
yeah.
Mike can't have it. Wait, another one over there. That's me. I just
and he'll never bring them all together. He'll just leave them where they're at.
They laying everywhere in my room, just squirrel nuts everywhere.
It's crazy. But yeah, like so, just in terms of that, like I just play all games. If it catches me, I'll play it. But RPGs are like my favorite. Like I like to create a character, and I think because there were certain RPGs that were so hard, like what was that? Breath of Fire 2 scarred me because I was stuck in that one part and didn't even realize that the monkey could stretch his arm. So I was like, yo, I can't go through this again. So like it kind of led me to like learn about like video games because I was always curious like what makes this video game look like the way it does. And so I had an uncle who was like into computers at the time, and he was like, oh, that's just a ROM chip. And I'm like, what's a ROM chip? He's like, well, that's read-only memory. And he's like, you put the games are stored on a chip on it. He's like, I'm gonna buy you a piece that you can hook up to a computer and you can read it. It won't play, but you can read what's on it. So this was like 6th grade, and he brought it, and I took it to school, and I plugged it into the computer lab, and I'm reading all these zeros and ones, and then it's got like information and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay. And it's like, if I change something on this, what? And you can't change nothing on a ROM, but if you rip it off of there, then you can make changes. And it wasn't until high school that I started playing around with that a little bit. At the time, it was kind of pricey because to actually, technology wasn't kind of there yet. So it was you know, I had to like cut class to go to the computer
this
lab.
is high school, like, in like 79, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
He was right there with the rock. Remember?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Took him out his fanny pack.
Yeah, right. He took it from me. That's why he got it.
Oh, he got his fanny pack from you?
Yeah, but definitely RPGs though, definitely. Sports, definitely. I mean, I'm like I said,
Your number one is RPGs.
Yeah.
Number
Then
two would be
sports.
sports.
pretty much. I would say yeah, probably sports.
What was one of the first systems you personally owned?
That I personally owned.
That
I bought for myself, you mean, or-
Yeah,
No,
the first console you
The first one
bought.
you purchased for you.
The PlayStation 1.
Okay.
PlayStation 1. I bought that for my... Well, no, that's a lie. I bought a Super Nintendo for myself. That's the first console I bought and got into a whole lot of trouble because I spent my summer youth check all on that. For those there going back, summer youth, if you know what summer youth is, you old.
It don't exist no more?
It kind of does, but not really.
Let's
But
see.
yeah, they don't care about the kids.
Yeah, I
But
don't-
anyhow, yeah.
Because back in my day, if you applied, you got a job
Yeah.
somewhere. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
now
yeah.
it's like we
Yeah.
pick 10 people out of the city.
Right.
If you think about it, right?
Yeah.
If they would have cared for the kids, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's true.
We're the ones worried about the kids.
Pretty much.
Technically,
But,
somewhere along the
yeah.
line with Vinny's humbled self.
Yeah, but
Who
yeah,
kids we talking about?
and I bought with that it came in Mario World, Super Mario World, obviously, but I bought Super Tecmo Basketball, and then the next game I bought after that was Slaughterhouse.
Okay.
Slaughterhouse was a game that I bought after that, and then that was the first. But the first one that I really enjoyed, because I ended up getting rid of it because I had it and I was like, I don't even care. The first one I truly enjoyed was the PlayStation though. The PlayStation, particularly Final Fantasy VII.
Remake coming.
Yeah, remake coming. Final Fantasy VII was definitely. I mean, I had dudes. This was in college, so I had dudes like, they like, yo, you ain't going to class? I'm like, nah, I gotta beat this part. I gotta get this material or whatever. They like, well, if you ain't going, I ain't going. Fuck it. We all sitting there. We had people like bring us lunch from the cafeteria. It was literally like we sitting there. They just watching me play. Like they talking stuff on the side, but they like, oh, he killed her. Like when he killed her,
Yeah.
he was like, oh,
Spoiler alert for those who...
he was. Oh, they were like, yo,
If you been
he
along
really
for
put
that.
the knife through. I was like, that's a sword, bro. But they were like, yo, that's crazy. Yeah, that was like ahead of its time at that point.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that doesn't really happen anymore. Now that everybody has online, nobody really just watches other people play, except for like if you're watching YouTube, you watch videos of people playing. But like I remember those days, like I'm playing and somebody's standing right next to me. Like, oh, look what happened! And then you give them the controller, they play. You're like, don't go that way, go over there.
Yep, very true. Very true.
It's rare you get a few people because it'll be me, my brothers, or me and my cousins when we go hang out.
Right.
Want to be playing and we're like, yo, don't go that way. Don't do it. Like so before I streamed the Daylight.
Oh,
Daylight.
Okay.
I had played in my cousin's crib, Living Dead. Shout out. We were playing and I'm like, yo, I made it further than what I was when I streamed it. But trust me, it was worse.
Yeah.
I paused the game, turned the lights on, turned the game off, and I was like, So I'm like, yo, the phone is messed up, and I'm like, yo. He's like, oh, nah, you could walk forward. I was like, nah, she's behind me. This is the dead end. He's like, how you know it's a dead end? Because the phone says it's a dead end.
Right.
I'm like, and it's bugging out, and she's not in front of me. She's right behind. He's like, nah, she's not behind you. I was like, all right, I can't back up.
Right.
He's like, what you mean you can't? I was like, yeah, go ahead, try. For some reason, she's physical when you try to back up.
Right.
But when you turn around, you can run through her.
Right.
Turn around, the whole screen starts turning red, paused it. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I knew she was there, but
That's his genre.
the heart attack it gave me, I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Mind you, I think it was an asylum jail cell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's not a place you want to be at.
Right.
Then from there, you're supposed to, you just came out of the sewers to go in there. Yeah, no, I don't want to. I was like, I'm done.
Yo, what's up with horror games and you cutting through the sewer to go somewhere?
Every horror game has that.
More scary than the sewers.
Because that's a logistical thing to do.
They just
Cut
walk
through
through,
the sewers. The darkest, dirtiest.
It's scary movies.
Go down the ladder.
Scary movies is you don't go out the front door. You try to go out the second floor window. And horror games is like, yo, go into the sewers and we end up in an asylum. That's the exit. No, it's not an exit.
It's not an exit at all.
It doesn't sound legit.
Crazy.
Nah, it doesn't sound like I would do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't last in a horror flick.
Yeah.
I'm like, this don't make sense.
I'd have drove off. Like, this don't even sound right. I've done that in real
So
life.
I don't know why this popped in my head, but when you said you would have drove off, it reminded me of playing Silent Hill when he was driving to the town to go look for his daughter. I'd have been like, I don't see her.
Yeah. She shouldn't have left my side in the first place. No, I'm serious. I've done that in real life if a situation didn't feel right. I'm like, that ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna work. People died. I'm like, that's why I didn't go with y'all. I didn't feel, this situation didn't feel right. Yeah.
So we know, you're a big Marvel fan.
Yes, definitely.
What is your biggest character fetish? Like, who's your favorite character?
So dirty.
Like,
who's your favorite character?
It's,
like, what's your fetish?
It's somebody that whether they're there or not.
What are we talking about?
Like when you hear that character's name, even if it's somebody talking about the movie, you put your 2 cents in your mind. You're like, you dummy.
Well, I know the
That's not how
answer to
it
this
is.
question, but this question is crazy.
Yeah.
Imagination is everywhere.
So it's Iron Man, and it was. But it goes back to, like, I used to get made fun of Iron Man being my favorite character.
Shout out to Robert.
Yeah, because they'd be like, he's just a man who's got a heart prosthesis. Like you take that out, he's gonna die because the shrapnel is gonna get to his heart and kill him. And I was just like, but he's rich, he's real smart, like he the Avengers, and it was just like, well,
his superpower is he's smart, and nobody really wanted to be smart. Where you from?
Pretty much, and so and then I was also a fan of the Hulk, so it was like, here you have this guy who's got, like, when he's the Hulk, he's got infinity strength, and he can't be hurt, and he can jump for miles and all this stuff. But then when he's a human being, he's super vulnerable and he's never going to have a regular life. So I always kind of took to that storyline because it was like, this is, he could, if he really wanted to, he could try to take over the world, which, later on they developed the Planet Hulk story kind of for it. But he just wanted to be normal.
That wasn't even him trying to take over the world.
Yeah.
That was I killed my wife, now I'm going to kill everybody who exists.
Right. And so, it was just... But Iron Man has always been my favorite. And I think over the years it's kind of taken up, like, a different, it's... Like, before it was about, like, being smart. But now it's all about, like, enduring everything. Enduring, all the things that are put before me, I'll endure it. And anyone that knows me, if they hear me in a situation, like, he'll get through that. And it's like, okay, like,
that sounds cold.
Yeah, not in a sense like
just
that.
So you guys know, I wouldn't do that to him. If he needs me, I'm there. I'm not just like, you good, son.
No,
you would be the one. You would be the one to put him in the situation first,
and then I get him out of it. That's what I do, baby. I put people in situations, and then most of them I leave.
But that was what it's come to me now, like, so it's like, just being like, just enduring and pushing through and just say, you know what, that's why I say, like, there is no hopefully, there is no try. We're going to do it. Whether I got to send you 1 million mean text messages to get to the point.
They do be mean sometimes. I cried last week.
It's like, I didn't send you a mean text.
Lonely teardrop.
You know what I'm saying? But nah, it's just, Iron Man is definitely, and it's, I said Robert Downey Jr.
So I take it you cried when he died at the end of Endgame.
No, but the guy next to me cried enough for the both of us. He cried enough for the whole row. He cried more than my wife did. Okay, like I looked over, I had to ask, I was like, you okay? Like, he was like, yeah, man, it was just emotional, and I'm like, and he was by himself. That's crazy. But like,
Shout out to the brave people who go to movies by themselves. You guys need a friend.
Now, what bugged me out was, it was me and my wife, and we're like, okay, and we caught her. Like, I stayed home from work that day because I'm like, I'm going to see this movie. I played hooky. I said I was sick. I don't care. I don't respect that anyway.
There you go. She's gonna put it in there. She's gonna tell you again. You cough too much.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely.
That was him.
And the guy was sitting next to me. There was a whole bunch of seats next to us. So I'm looking at him like, why are you sitting next to me? If you got a whole row.
He paid for that seat.
That seat was his seat.
He knew what seat you were in, so he paid for the one next to you. So other people wouldn't think he was by himself.
And he cried.
He had friends.
He cried. And it was like, he was like right here. So I'm like.
And it made it better that you asked him, are you okay? Because everybody's like, oh my God, he's crying. But his friend got him.
Nah, the whole theater was crying. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I was like, wow, like, that's a way to go. And, you know, if you look at the story that's built and with Marvel just changing cinema and everything, and to all the critics that say that they're, you know, that it's not cinema or whatever. I'm not even going to mention their names because it don't even matter. We just counting money at Marvel.
I feel like he just said that so that people would talk about him and then he could come out with that movie and then people would watch the movie.
Which was a good movie. Yeah. Long. We're not gonna say what movie it was, but it was long.
The greatest movie.
It was alright. Okay. It was okay.
I mean, he had like top tier actors in it though, so it better have been at least okay.
Right. But you know, it was a great ending, and you felt everyone's journey.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to close off a story that's been going on for 10 years. Look at Star Wars. Star Wars couldn't do it. They broke that movie up. You know what I'm saying? You look at all the Star Trek tried.
They broke it up and sold it into pieces. Like Star Wars got destroyed.
Like all the movies that tried. I think the only movie that came close was Harry Potter. And they had like, you watch those kids grow up.
Yeah.
Versus.
But that's because it was based off of a book and they went off of the book pretty much the whole thing.
Marvel had to kind of take stories and meld them into something that everyone could like. Not like just us.
Yeah.
But like the average fan. Like my wife who watching and shit, like, oh, okay, that's cool.
There's certain things in the Marvel universe that they couldn't really take from the comic books.
Right.
Like, quick example, Peter Quill, his real father. They couldn't show you a whole race of people that nobody knew existed just to say, that's his father.
Right. And they kind of spun it. They made the guy, his father, which it turned out to be dope. Turned out to be dope. What do you think about Christian Bale? They say he might be Adam Warlock. I'm just excited for him.
I don't see him.
I feel like if he's in it,
I don't see him being Adam Warlock.
I loved him since Equilibrium.
He got the look.
You probably loved him from Batman because you loved that movie. But
no, American Psycho.
American Psycho is a good one.
I loved him from Equilibrium.
Okay.
Equilibrium was a good movie too.
Yeah. I loved
American Psycho. Definitely.
The reason why I don't see him playing Adam Warlock is because he's gonna be in Thor: Love and Ragnarok. That's his first big appearance.
Right,
and I don't see
he's not going to be Beta Ray Bill.
I don't see Adam Warlock coming out in the movie.
Is going to lead to something else.
They should let.
He's supposed
Chris's
to be.
brother be Beta Ray Bill. That would just be funny. He had to fight his brother.
They saying that he's going to be a villain that's kind of like in the Loki kind of scheme of things, where he's kind of like a villain throughout. Okay. So, I don't know. He's a great actor, and I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him being a part of that because, I think that all of the good actors that are actually, trying to reach out to Marvel to say, hey, pick us for these parts.
Yeah.
If that don't tell you that's cinema, we got Angelina Jolie playing in the Eternals. That's I don't want to curse, but that's effing a crazy. Like Angelina Jolie picked the part in.
Look at John Krasinski, right? John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Krasinski. He goes and he says, "Oh, if Marvel's still looking into me being Mr. Fantastic, keep looking into me being Mr. Fantastic."
I think he would make a great Mr. Fantastic too.
The picture he put up, is him with his rugged beard, in a white tank top and jeans, and I'm like, that's also a good a good look for Logan. I was like, don't get me wrong.
It could.
I was
think he's
like,
too funny. I don't think he has the intensity for that.
No, of course.
But I think he's funny.
The picture it took me was he dressed up looking like Wolverine to be like, hey, I want to be Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah. And
I'm like, okay, so he's funny. He's trying out for 2 parts right now.
Nah, he's just trying to be super funny.
No, yeah.
He's got the comedic the comedic chops to kind of play like, because Fantastic Four isn't going to be serious. It's kind of going to be light. You know, he's going to have serious moments like Omar, but you know, I think he's hilarious.
You think Chris Evans is going to play his role?
His Human Torch?
I think it would be awesome if
that
they did
would
that.
be hilarious.
I think if they did that in Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
they have to.
Another
Yeah,
universe where he's the torch.
That'll be
hilarious.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they got that in the works. Because we talking about a multiverse.
Yeah, if you're talking about a multiverse, if Sony sticks around. If Sony sticks around, the old, that'll be great.
You know, or like, I mean, just saying, like, you got so much stuff to play around with,
especially with a multiverse.
Mm-hmm. So I guess any last
question?
So this interview became just a conversation.
Last question before we wrap up. You got a choice. You got to kill one and you got to save one. Scarlet Witch and Black Widow.
Kill one, marry one, save one?
No, kill one and save one. All right. You got to save one. Scarlet Witch or Black Widow.
Oh, Scarlet Witch. I'm saving her. And I'm killing Black Widow. She already died.
You want the Soul Stone. That's what it is. I get you.
She already died for us. So that's an easy one. Listen, I gave her Scarlet Witch. You can't touch me. I'll be like, baby.
I love Black Widow as much as the next person. But yeah, I would have to agree with him because I feel like Scarlet Witch would just come back and fuck me up for not saving her. And if Black Widow dies, she just dead.
But what if you don't remember her?
Wait, what? Don't remember who.
Oh, man. Anyhow, let's wrap up. All
right, guys.
What a great interview.
FYC The Show, Vinny Bronco.
Repercussion.
Just heck.
And we are out.
Deuces.
Peace. Go turn this shit off.